What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. It's very funny. I don't always proof the images, but I did see one little short preview for those coming in. This, bam, that's magic. That's art. That's done by our own Tim Freeman, who we're going to say hello to right now. Tim, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Raf. I am holed up in a secret location. The PGF has kidnapped me. I'm under duress. I'm being forced to manage the Reddit boards and scrub all negative comments of Brandon McCaffrin. I'm doing good. I am out in Stockton in my cousin's bedroom, and it feels great to be here. Thanks for having me again, man. And I'm stoked about the show today.
I am glad to hear that. But I have questions before we even get to the board. So why do you have like birthday party decorations in the left-hand side, maybe your right-hand side? Because it looks like we're celebrating a birthday that never stopped celebrating. So was that intentional? Like what was the methodology behind that? Because everything else I kind of get.
Perhaps it's like a used car dealership in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. We got a deal on some of that stuff when we hung it up. No, there's some different decorations and stuff. Got those cool masks, and we got a stuffed Dumbo back here. And then we got some festive lettering. I also removed some stuff. There was some other stuff back here that I decided probably shouldn't be in the scene, but overall, it's not too bad.
I'm just glad that you had to tell us, hey, there was some other incriminating stuff. This definitely just looks like the Dateline profile. They talk about the serial killer, or they interview the innocent still stuck in that era from when they were attacked, if you would. So I welcome you back. But Tim, we have business to speak of because, as many people may not know, this is first and foremost an Ohtani podcast. Secondarily, it is everything else. But did you see my boy Ohtani getting the MVP for the fourth time, sir?
I did. And listen, the World Series is over. It's been settled. It's been decided. I'm back to full 100% hatred of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I want to put that out there. Having said that, pretty difficult to disagree with Ohtani winning his fourth MVP. Look, that's good. It's no Barry Bonds 7. It's an Ohtani 4, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. He's having a great career. He's a young guy. Hopefully, he gets traded to the Giants, and then we can really make him a baseball player.
For sure. And then you could put him on steroids and have asterisks everywhere. I guess where I want to go off of this Barry Bonds thing that you bring up is Barry Bonds has 7. Ohtani has 4. He has a 10-year contract. We're only in on year 2. So good things can still happen. We'll see. I'm very excited about it, but 4 unanimous votes in. And that's not even what we're talking about. We're not even talking about Ohtani, the human being. You're talking about Ohtani, the baseball player. I want to get into Ohtani, the dog dad, and here's why. The Major League Baseball organization has decided to go all in on Decoy, and I think it's the best idea possible because more people know who Decoy is than 80% of baseball rosters throughout the organization. And wouldn't you know it, they put a highlight of Decoy's greatest hits at all the major league announcements for MVP. And in doing so, there's a great moment where Decoy is all prim and proper in his first one, does a high five like a good boy. The second time, scared for his life and jumps off the couch. The third time, you think he'd be a pro. But the thing that really caught me on this third time at bat for Decoy was the fact that they wanted to make the dog feel so at home that when Ohtani was named as MVP for the fourth time officially on the broadcast, and he has all of his friends and family members just chilling there, When he went to go kiss somebody, it wasn't his wife, it was the dog. And I just thought to myself, I wasn't sure if this was something they said, like, let's make sure the dog feels comfortable. But I get a sense Otani may love this dog more than any other human in existence.
I mean, look, if you had to be an animal, being Otani's dog is a pretty good gig. There's a lot of pissed. Muttley, the dastardly dog, is out there pissed off right now because Otani's new to the game. With Decoy, excuse me, Decoy's new to this game, steps right into the premier spot. Muttley's been working for years. So, yeah, man, Otani's dog, he's got a nice little life going for him.
I just love the fact that this is kind of the direction it went. Otani went over and they go, Otani, congratulations on being MVP this year. And he does this. Mwah, mwah, oh, I love you, little puppy. You're my. But like legitimately went from like wife, puppy. And that to me was art. And that poor little Decoy, his little pup arm was being held by his wife and just adorable. So anyway, that was kind of the top of the line items. But Tim, we have a very busy week ahead of us. So let's get straight to this board because I don't know how long you have rented out this workspace that is designed to take you back to the early 2000s. But I feel like we should advance the board and start with this very important topic. Did you guys know that at competition, if you're really in a bad spot and somebody is trying to secure a rear naked choke, you can just bite your way out? Tim, what can you tell us about this incredible moment and evidence that was shown on social media about one competitor's journey at a recent Naga?
So, yeah, hey, what I love about Naga is it continues to be the wild, wild west of jujitsu. When you go to a Naga competition, you got to come in locked in because anything goes. If I'm not wrong, Naga pioneered giving the katana away, right? So these guys are ahead of the game. Anything goes. Anna Bozovic claims with video evidence that her opponent was biting her. You could see she posted these huge bite marks on social media. Now, her opponents actually come out and posted like counter videos, and there's a whole slew of them where people are saying that's not a bite. That's just if you cross face somebody across the mouth, yeah, they're going to put teeth on you. Okay, fair play. However, you shouldn't see all those individual bite marks in multiple places on the arm, like full on Jaws style. We're talking James Bond villain. And here's the thing about getting bit at Nagaraf. Here's the thing. Dr. Fauci is the doctor. So if you get bit at Naga, you got to go see Fauci and your ass is grass, man. But you don't want to get bit by anybody. You don't want to get bit. That's bad, bad, bad stuff, man. So biting somebody or even opening up your mouth like that where you could cut somebody or penetrate the skin, bad news. Anna seems like she's doing well. She's irritated about it, but she's moving on with life. So anyway, be careful out there, man.
I'm so glad we had the best of 2000 jokes still available. I want to say this. With this being said about biting people, what do you do if the ref is you? Like, what are you doing in that situation, Tim? You're an instructor. I think you've had to ref some things in your time, or you've gotten out of it multiple times by hiring someone at a cheaper rate. But what would you do in that situation, sir?
I mean, listen, obviously, if you see the bite while it's live, you got to stop them. You got to call it out and you got to stop them. There's no like warning. You shouldn't get a warning for biting. That's not incidental. That's like, I bit you. Okay, you're DQ'd. Match is over. Now, apparently, that didn't happen after the match. She shows all these bite marks. I think Naga has to handle it at that point. I think the ref has to talk to whoever the head ref is, and this person has to be handled in a particular way. Look, if I'm running a gym and somebody's in my gym, whether they're a full-time student or not, and they put the chompers to somebody, then they can't be a student anymore. At that point, you are a dog that bites people, and I can't trust you around other people. So yeah, that's a rough one, man. But I don't know exactly how the ref handled this because they don't have like the full video posted. They just have some little clips.
So you've done the investigation. I have refused to because this story does not merit my time. But from your discovery, what have you figured out here? Because to me, this should be an open and shut case. If I have bite marks on my hand, not bite mark, bite marks, plural, I don't think there's much evidence you need to show me that says anything other than, hey, you bit me. So from your discovery, where do you stand on this? Like, if you needed to make a ruling, where would you fall?
Oh, so apparently, just to add some context to it, the ref did stop it after Anna stood up and showed her arm. Her opponent sincerely apologized, but
Good.
listen, the moment somebody puts teeth on somebody, you stop the match. You probably ban them from competition, right? So if somebody bites me and we're training, I'm throwing elbows immediately. I'm punching and I'm kicking. I'm not taking that as like, oh, that's no. That's crossing the line.
The place where I come from doesn't that go into prison rules where I just think, oh,
Yeah.
Like if somebody wrist locks me, I go, oh, I'm so sorry. I was rolling nice. I didn't know you came from bad parenting. So now I have to fuck you up. So I have adopted that as my rule. It's not everybody's rule, and people are welcome to think and do what they need to do. But I'm going to tell you this. You be biting. Don't be surprised if this elbow finds your face a couple times. And a couple of my students will actually affirm that very well because they'll know, they're like, man, Ralph's the nicest roll until you do something dumb. And then that's when he pulls out all of his dumb shit like a Boston Crab, or he literally is like heavy pressure. I think one time I went elbow into someone's solar plex and I was just like, chill the fuck out. So yeah, otherwise pretty nice roll, but can't be like that forever. So I guess where I would say to you is this, to the woman who this happened to, I'm very sorry. I know you're a game competitor and you handle it pretty well from what I could see. To the person that this happened to, all I could say is this. Just work on that back defense. It's constant movement. You got to be doing something. Build up to your knees and build up a base a little bit more. And in worst case scenario, your dentist will thank you if you tap. So just think about long terms of how much this is going to cost. Cost benefit analysis. That's really what it is. Cost, how much is this going to cost you at the dentist later? Benefit, tapping now saves you money. And really, the only thing you could gain from this situation is a sword. In your guys' case, probably a championship belt. Or if you're entered in 2 divisions, you can only win 1 belt. I don't think people know that about Naga. They get very, very sad about it, where they find out that at the event, you can win 1 championship belt for sure in the advanced divisions, but only in the advanced divisions. But if you're entered in 2 divisions, you only get 1 belt still. It's 1 belt and 1 medal. So I think it's really important people know that because they have gone up complaining. And how do I know this? Because I've done it. And I want to make sure that other people are more aware than me so that they don't look as embarrassing as I do. And granted, I'm usually pretty nice about it, but I do have a very concerned effort of, what do you mean I can only get 1 belt? What kind of nonsense is this? I see how many belts you guys have, and they're like, yeah, but we got to take this from town to town. I was like, well, cool. I'll save you some money on your jet fuel that you need. Give that to me. So anyway, all right, let's advance the board and let's go to our next topic.
Those are like carnival rules, Raf. When you win at a carnival, you can't win 2 big items. You can only win 1, and then the rest are small. We got to take this shit town to town.
but like, Tim, it's just, I've learned to be friendly with some of the people at Naga. And even when things are happening, when they were even happening to my students, I was just like, I mean, I explained to you guys it was the Wild West and it's your fault for doing this tournament. Like, I put the blame back on my students, not on Naga, where I'm like, you knew what you were getting into. Sorry, guys. That's that Naga gonna Naga. You should know that. And don't forget,
Yeah.
Naga is one of the few tournaments where sometimes points just because the vibes were good. Never forget that, kids. So, vibes be vibing. Let's move to our next one, which is okay. This photo that you put up here, Tim, it's making me have to do more work to introduce this because I want to make sure people have time to acknowledge the beautiful photo that was made and doctored up here by one Timothy J. Freeman. But here's the update. In this week's What the Hell is Moneyberg Talking About? He has claimed that he spent over $3 million on jiu-jitsu privates alone. Which begs the question, how does that work out for a guy who says he's trained more jiu-jitsu than just about everybody in the world? Tim, your initial thoughts on this?
Man, I started thinking about that. I'm like, geez, this guy paid $3 million for his black belt, right? I mean, more or less, if we boil it down. And then I took a step back and I was like, man, for an investment guru, not a great investment. Like, not that good of an investment because literally this is like the $3 million man. And then he has to defend his dollar store black belt. He has to constantly get out there and back it up and back it up and back it up. It's kind of mind-boggling that he would actually come out and say that. I would like to see the receipts, right? And I would also like to know, was this a write-off, right? Is this like a business endeavor that he's working on? Is this part of a documentary he's going to be pitching? Is he going to write this through? Because then it's like, okay, this is a great idea. Moneyberg, you got us again, you dirty rascal Moneyberg. But I don't know, man. I think he's just talking. I think he's just trying to add to the Moneyberg lore. And he's like the anti-Craig Jones. The more he talks, the worse it gets. It just gets worse and worse for him. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to his updates every week now.
Thank you for that. Okay, I did some thinking here, which I know is a dangerous thing. Okay, $3 million, let's start with this, is a lot of money. So we're not going to pretend like it's not a lot of money. Having said that, it did get me thinking about how much some of these black belts have sold their soul. Like, what is the going rate for people who are much better at jiu-jitsu than myself or Tim or even the average bear here? Now, Moneyberg has justified his black belt in saying he has trained more than everybody else, roughly estimating that he has done over 3,000 hours of training. Well, my friends, I'm not super great at math, but I can punch some numbers in. And wouldn't you know it, 3 million divided by 3,000 gives you $1,000 per session. So, I mean, Gordon has said his going rate's about 1,500, maybe as high as 2,500, and he's a multi-ADCC champion. And these other guys come from the UFC, all walks of life. Mikey Musumeci, don't know their rates. But you know what's wild about that $1,000 per session? Just estimation here. Every one of these people now has to play defense in perpetuity for how good he is. They have to tell us the clips that they have released that they swear don't tell the full story. No, you got to see him roll. He's better than you think he is. No. Don't look at what you see. See what you hear from me. Like, the logic that gets lost in this is spectacular. It's amazing. But that is part of the reason why now they get so frustrated. They're like, I don't really want to talk about Moneyberg. It's because that is the handoff. You took the money from this dude who probably had you sign some shit that says he will always be good at jiu-jitsu, or that you don't sell him out. So as long as you hold the line on not being dismissive of his jiu-jitsu, you will earn your keep. And guess what? We found out the going rate for that is probably about $1,000, which in jiu-jitsu, not bad. It's definitely bigger than my rate. I just thought, as I saw all these people lining up to give this man a black belt, that maybe they might have made a little bit more money. And instead, now, when you ask about it, they do a little dance around it. They say things like, oh, I mean, for a guy who doesn't compete, he's pretty good. Or he's a genius. He thinks about things logically. Or worse, when he says it, you have to sit in a chair and look like you're being abducted and not disagree with him, because they never look at the camera. They never look directly at the camera. What they do is they look like they have been taken by Al Qaeda and they're just staring out into the ether. And they could see in their brain all of the things that they have sacrificed in doing so. UFC championships, doesn't matter anymore. I said Moneyberg's pretty good at jiu-jitsu. Credibility goes like this. Bank account kind of goes like this. But I guess the other question is, what other incentives does he have? Because he could add other incentives here. And maybe it's not for that. But when somebody says that they spent $3 million and they've trained for approximately 3,000 hours, and that every one of those hours was essentially under the guidance of somebody there, the math might be off, but not from us. It's from their own accounts. So do with that information what you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a great rate. I would do it for that.
Tim, no,
I'm gonna
don't,
DM
no,
him right
no,
now.
don't do that. God damn it, Tim. Tim's like, I'll do it for
Let's make
800.
you a red belt, my friend.
Because we did ask this week, what's everybody's going rate? And we did get some responses where people go, I would never do that. Somebody goes, Machado would take my black belt back. And I go, okay, that just leaves more money for the rest of us. Foolish. Keep your dignity, bro. So there is that. And of course, probably wrote it off as a marketing expense. I mean,
I bet he did.
Probably. But you know what, dude? Listen, I would like to cook those books a little bit. I'd love to see exactly how they wrote off some of those things, because I'm not even going to hate. I'll just tell my tax guy, I'd be like, hey, we're doing this now. They set precedents with this. So is what it is. Tim, why don't we move on to our next topic here? It does look like Dana White, in promotions for UFC 322 this week, has ramped up a little bit more on the offensive. He claims that right now, all of these internet know-it-alls, which might include us, yet to be determined, would get fucked up by Mark Zuckerberg. Tim, your response. As a black belt, I should know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. Dana's on the meta board. He's got a nice chunk of change for being on the meta board. I would say that too. Dana said that Zuck would beat the living shit out of them. And it's just like, the living shit is such a funny term to me that Dana would refer to it that way. When I see Zuck, I don't get that vibe from him. I get the vibe from him like, hey, let's talk about it. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings kind of vibe, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there has been kind of a hard press to present Zuckerberg as a tough dude. Listen, I think he trains. I think he actually goes out there and he does it. But I don't think he's going to be kicking the living shit out of people. Now, look, if we're talking like old school Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you know something, you've been training for 3 years, and this person is a scrub off the street, they can't even tie their shoes without tripping, then yeah, Mark's going to take them all the time. But Mark ain't going to whoop my ass. That's not going to happen. That won't be happening until I'm in the retirement home. It'll be way, way, way down the road. And even then, it would probably be like a Zuck bot or something like that. But, good on you, Mark. You need to change your image a little bit. You got a little tough guy thing going. You got a little machismo going. You got some testosterone pumping through your veins. So it's not that big of a deal, but it is kind of funny when Dana pops off about it.
Okay, so Dana White is mostly trying to address probably not practitioners, because I feel like our community is the one that self-polices here. Like, I feel like everybody in the comment section who's trained more than 3 weeks of jiu-jitsu probably is going to take Zuck. Because in a similar space, when they release the footage, it's never going to impress us. But I guess it's the degree in which we're going to be underwhelmed. And the underwhelming footage from not only Zuck, but Moneyberg makes you look at it and think, you guys all got together and said this was the footage to release? And this is the footage that's supposed to inspire us to be like, oh no, Zuck is going to get us. Yikes. Allow me to take a minute here. Of course, Dana White is going to talk about Zuck being a badass because he is training. So let's get one thing straight. We're very happy to see people train. We're all in that same boat. And Zuck might actually beat up some of your white belts. And probably that's a possibility. He's competed before. It's not nothing. Super happy and proud to see that. But Dana White inviting or rage baiting us to saying, you guys, he's going to fuck you up. There's some things about Zuck you don't know. Sir. You have sold us a lot of stuff. Promoters say wild ass shit just to get you to buy things. I don't need to buy into Zuck being a badass. That is something that he is doing, similar to Trump, where they just utilize the UFC and its demo to make themselves look cooler. A lot of people do it. It is a rehab strategy. Rehab in this day and age, 101, go to the UFC, show you do some jiu-jitsu, show you're a badass. But we welcome people of all walks of life, so I have no issue with that. I would love for them to spend a little bit more money on jiu-jitsu and not just buy them off for privates. That's cool. But, invest in the community, blah, blah, blah. The hard part for me is we all like to indulge ourselves into how we would do in a fight. But we don't have to kid ourselves. That is the trade-off of being poor. You don't have to acknowledge that the rich people who don't look like they can fight could probably fight. You don't have to acknowledge that. In fact, the whole thing of being poor is we're supposed to laugh at this shit. So you trying to take that away from us is some rich people asshole shit. And I have to say this, it is seeping in well in a week where we couldn't even give a guy named Taco an extra $50K when that dude's going out there and saying hey, by the way, I took this fight. I love being in the UFC. I'm trying to provide for my mom. She's poor, and I would love that bonus. Still would love that bonus. No? Shit. These people are begging just for the smallest amount of money. And then today, Daniel D.C. Cormier goes on complaining that the things that are killing the UFC is that wrestlers in college now can make some money. DC was saying that he, when he was coming up, only got $750 to wrestle. And I have to tell you, it's not out of the line to say that the UFC has a different structure, that maybe they don't have the incentives to keep wrestlers. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It could just be a poor choice of words here that DC is like, wrestling's killing us now because they give these dudes like 100K to 400K, and it's crazy, man. And that's really what's killing us here at the UFC, so that they go off and do other things. It's like, no, that's a capitalist market. They just went somewhere else. They found a better gig. We should want people to get paid more money. You know what you could do at the UFC? Pay them a little bit more, and then they might have incentive to come here because you got these big deals with these big organizations. I know. Too hard. Lots of things people don't know. But I'm just saying, quit trying to tell us how to pour. We know how to pour just fine. But if you keep telling us how we're supposed to pour, we are 100% going to come back at you and be like, bullshit, Zuck isn't beating me in a fight. And I don't say a lot of things, but I feel pretty good about my odds with Zuck. And afterwards, if he buys me out, I will 100% come on this show and tell you guys, you guys are being a little mean about Zuck's jiu-jitsu. He's pretty good. But I promise you this, I will try to put it in the best context possible so that even if they're paying me off, I'm going to say something that's somewhat true. That is mostly going to be like, oh, I mean, yeah, he wasn't bad. He passed my blue belt's guard. Truthful. That's it. Anyway, that's where I get off on that train.
He's unorthodox. He's stronger than he looks. He's unorthodox.
Oh, God, no. You know what? This is the broadcast that needs to happen.
I love it.
If someone trained 2 hours per workday every week, 2-week holiday per year, it would take 6 years to hit 3,000 hours.
Okay. That's not enough. That's not enough to whoop my ass. Not from Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry, dude.
So I don't even
know
that
we started.
I'm so sorry, Tim. Maybe we don't make the most sense to interview Moneyberg. Maybe it's Egg. Maybe you just got to sit them in a room and let them hash it out as only they can. And because they have similar cadence in their voices, they might drive each other nuts. Like, Egg's going to come at him and be like, well, actually, if you work through, I'm just trying to quote you here, 2 hours per day, every week, 2-week holiday per year, it would take 6 years to hit 3,000 hours. So I'm just, come on, man. Like, what are we looking at here? What are we doing? Are we training that way? Moneyberg trying to talk over him and be like, no. See, what you don't understand, your brain can't comprehend the explosion in Egg's literal giant, whatever pound brain he claims he has, just literally flying like confetti or busting out like it's Pulp Fiction and John Travolta's pulled the trigger. Like, that's the magic I want to see. So if we can make that happen, please. Yeah. Please. All right. Here is where we are moving to next. Tim, on this particular topic, I am intrigued to get some response from you because you know more about this topic than I do. But it does seem that this week, Royce Gracie made the claim that it was not his dad that wanted to see him massacre people. If anything, his dad said, hey, when you beat up people, try to be nice about it. It was that his mom was the one that wanted to see blood. What else can you tell us about this story, Tim?
Yeah, so Royce Gracie in an interview states, which is kind of wild because everybody would expect it to be Helio Gracie, who's, one of the founders of jiu-jitsu. What a great lineage. He says that between my mom and dad, my mom was the savage. My dad was chill. My dad didn't want me to beat people up too bad. Mom said, dad's wrong. I want to see blood. And I'm like, damn. But that kind of makes sense. And I started thinking in my own family, like, who was the savage? Was it mom or was it dad? And dad was like, Pops is pretty savage, but mom was like kind of crazy savage. You know what I mean? And especially, and I've seen this with my lovely wife and our two, grown ass boys now, but when they were growing up, I was the one saying, hey, you got to defend yourself, but don't overdo it. Like, like, watch yourself. And mom was like, no, you got to throw bombs. Somebody gets in your face, you start swinging. She was the one pushing them. So it doesn't surprise me that it was Hoyce's mom that wanted to see the blood. Good for her, because maybe without that, we don't get the Hoyce Gracie that we got in UFC 1. So to you, Mama Gracie, thank you. Appreciate.
Thank you, Tim. So I can't tell if the intention is to make us love these now more as the mom and dad, or like we're supposed to blame her. Like I don't know where we're supposed to fall on this, because I feel like in the MMA community we very much go like, that's a mom, yeah, what's up? But do we also go like, what a pussy you dad? Or like, I don't know that we do that. I just always think logically, what are you talking about here? And how did this come up? And what did you think you were going to gain when you tell this story? Because when I tell my mom stories to my friends, I just basically try to paint the picture, which is, no, my mom is the one that would get hood on you if necessary. My dad was way too respectful. My dad had a quiet way of getting angry at people. And if people have ever seen me mad, I think they know. Like, that quiet RAF anger is...
Yeah.
It's there. But my mom is the side of me that say, I don't know, some promoter doesn't do something right, that comes on the show and goes, I'll tell you another thing. And you know what? Here's one more thing from you. So I think we're all a mixture of both of our parents. So I guess the question, if I were an interviewer, I would have followed up with Hoyce and been like, what did you get from your dad then? Because you still ended up this way. Your mom might have wanted blood, but your dad wasn't not in this, involved in this. Like, what do you feel you took from that? But I love the idea of being like, maybe your dad just felt bad for the person who was getting whooped and was just like, hey, you're pretty good here, son. And this is a new sport. People don't even know what this is. And you're just fucking people up. Maybe chill. And the mom's like, nah, they got to know. This is going to be legendary. Let's show them what fucking MMA is. Beat his ass 3 more times. Oh, they said some shit about jiu-jitsu? Fuck them.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Speaking of which, Egghead Warrior says, about the same age, so we could see if he could take a purple belt. So we have...
Oh, let's go.
A challenge issued here, and I think this challenge makes sense. Egg's a pretty big dude. Not like Moneyberg, because Egg's in shape. But like Moneyberg, he's the issue we've had is, oh no, Mikey Musumeci can't hold on to a choke. Yeah, dude, he's $120. What do you think he's gonna do to this giant man? At least we're getting closer to a real weight class. Sorry, I don't mean that mean, Egg. I'm just saying, like, we're closer. I know weights are different, so you don't need to get on me for that. But I like this challenge a lot. This is great. We should 100% get behind this, Tim. Tim, give me your best rationale as to why we should indulge Moneyberg versus Egg.
Well, look, this works on 2 levels, and I really see it as a 2-part event. I see it first as an intellectual debate. Moneyberg on one side, Egghead Warrior on the next. They have it out in the debate. We could figure out who's going to moderate the debate. I don't know, a couple different moderators. That might be fun. Then, after the debate, we move them onto the mats and we let them loose on each other. And I say we go sub only. And the only way you can win is to put your opponent to sleep, or you got to get a pop. You got to get a snap. Tapping don't work. Even if we got to go all the way through. It's got to be clean, 100% definitive. I think we could sell this. I think people would buy into it. This could be kind of like the B-side to CJI each year. We can have a matchup against Moneyberg. This is a great idea. I say we run with it, man. Let's go.
Egg, this is me talking directly to you. I'm fine to indulge this, but you can't let us down. Like 100%. This is Hoyce's mom channeling herself right now into me and saying, like, blood. I need this dude to get messed up. I need hard rounds at 10th Planet Oceanside for the next year. Just being ready for this. Not saying you're not. I think you could take him. But the fallout we have to deal with if you don't. We would, one of the board topics over here, one of the board topics, you know how we have a couple every week. So we have like fight of the week and gallery. It would be dedicated to talking shit about Egg every single week. Like probably this one right there. We would dedicate that to just Egg because you let us down if you can't beat up Moneyberg. That's it. I just wanted to make sure we had that on record. We're good. If he caught you with like some bullshit wrist lock, let it break. Done. Let it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of numbers and other additional things, this weekend is a big weekend. This weekend, East Coast trials are taking place out in Florida, which begs the question, why? Because, you have to go to Florida? No thanks. Nonetheless, many grapplers are down there right now, currently making weight. I believe weigh-ins just started right now. Tim, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to this year's trials? And is there anybody you want us to keep eyes on right now?
The challenge with East Coast trials is it's literally Jersey or Florida. And these are the two options that they pop back and forth with every year. It's like if you're on the East Coast, every single time you got to go somewhere you don't really want to go. Every single time. However, these East Coast trials, there's some decent names in these divisions. The under 66 kilograms got Dorian Oliveras, a friend of the show, Keith Krikorian, Gianni Grippo, Max Hansen, Gavin Corbe, who's been on a nice run. So there's some good talent there. If you look at the under 77 kilograms, the PGF kid himself, Jet Thompson, is looking like he's probably the favorite to win if he can get through Michael Sands. There's some Sid Tavalaro, who is like one of Greg Sauter's kind of protege guys coming up, is also in that bracket. So look for some big things out of them. So there's some good names in here. Achilles Rocha. There's a lot of big Bree Stick from 10th Planet Stockton, one of our teachers on Wednesday night. She's in the girls division there. I think that's the under 55 kilogram. So looking forward to it, man. Look, I still love the grappling. I still think it's great for the sport. It is kind of providing like just a live stream of movement and action that kind of keeps these guys busy and moves them through. So I'm interested in seeing how ADCC plays out, if they make any changes in the production or how they present it. And these guys are trying to get out there and hustle. So looking for big things from that, Raf. Be stoked if Jet Thompson pulls it off. That would be outstanding.
We have a ton of friends out there right now. I've been seeing updates through almost everybody, Jet Thompson being one of those. He's got to be a favorite. Keith Krikorian's got to be a favorite. But then you've got some folks who have snuck back in there, like Alec Balding and Jonathan Satava, who have won it before. John Combs has won it before. So These guys want to punch their ticket back. Like, they've definitely made improvements of their game, but there are so many people. I said so many people. Wow, I'm glad I brought that up. Me? Okay, let's talk people. ADCC is our premier event, allegedly. So imagine my surprise when I went to go just run some of the numbers on the Smooth Comp website. Would you be surprised to know that only 622 athletes are currently signed up for ADCC trials? Now, that includes a new division for women. So, okay. That's still about 600 people or so. But last time, they said that for sure brackets would close down. None of the brackets currently on there are closed down in terms of they reach capacity. So even though the registration is closed, they never hit capacity in one single area. And in fact, the last time in 2023, trials had over 1,000 people who were registered. So we got to go through some questions here and figure some things out. I believe the biggest bracket I saw on hand was one that had about 175 people. Now, that you might be wondering is not coming from the plus 99 division. In fact, the plus 99 division has currently 45 people attempting to get that bid. Why is that prominent? Like, why is that important here when the cutoff is almost somewhere closer to 200 plus? Well, for years, we were saying that the women really didn't deserve another bracket, that there's not enough women to fill that bracket. So they should be lucky that they are getting a spot. And yet, one of the women's categories, the middle category, has 39 people, just about the same as the 99 plus. But the difference is this: the women, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, who compete this weekend do not have an automatic bid for ADCC. This is just so that they can have good reps, get some good time in front of Mo and other people behind the ADCC organization, really just Mo, but really get some face time to make the argument for their seating, and in case they need to do probably people who have to fill in the brackets if people get injured as we get closer to ADCC. So nobody gets an advanced entry into this one from the women's side. And yet on the men's side, 45 people, one of the people from that 45 set of plus 99 guys are going to go to ADCC. So I'll start with this, Tim. What's the deal? Why do you think we have less people doing trials this year by arguably at least 400 people less this time than next?
You know, that's a real good question. I guess one thing I'd like to know is, are there more trials this year than there were in the previous ADCC trial season? Like, have they changed the trial structure at all? Because I'm not positive if they have, but I would say this: in the past, the buzz around trials generally was a big deal. This year specifically, it does feel like the buzz hasn't been quite as big. People are for sure going. I got students going. I got lots of friends that are going out to do it, but it's not moving the needle as much as it used to. Now, there's more trials left, so this could just be an anomaly. There was a bunch of travel issues going on, and look, it's Florida. It's all the way across the country, so maybe that has some kind of play in it. I'm not positive, but the numbers are down. They're down, and ADCC has taken a little bit of a hit the last couple years, and it hasn't really done all that much to reform or change. It just kind of stayed quiet. And now it's back, which is why, I kind of want to see what they're going to do. And it is going to be interesting following this trial season to see how the competitive community actually responds to ADCC, if they show up in numbers or if they don't. Because if they don't, then that really is a referendum on the ADCC way of doing business. And it'll be interesting then to see what they decide to do in the future.
So here's what I wanted to bring up. It doesn't mean that people won't show up for West Coast trials. I still think you'll have a healthy number of people submitting for that. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we get closer on this. But the biggest two divisions are 77 kg, which has about 170, and the second biggest, I believe, is 66 kg. But where I'm trying to figure out why people are doing this in less numbers, are we at a point now where we are seeing so many competition opportunities that people go, why do I want to spend my money to do that if it doesn't make sense for me? Or, hey, I'm in UFC BJJ. I'm good. I probably make 10K just doing that, as opposed to the grand prize you could win for ADCC. You asked about the different trials experiences. It's still the same for us here. Now, people can have dual citizenships in different places. So there is a possibility they could do a trials in a different region, but that's a very small percentage of people here. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, why do we have such a lack of enthusiasm? Is it that the ADCC brand took a hit? Is it that people are more responsible with their money? I don't know what it is. But there's also a part of me that wonders, if you're a competitor and these guys watch each other like hawks, if you don't start doing the math and thinking, okay, that's definitely an invite I can get, but I don't see a ton of those big stars from the Simple Man podcast on there who said they had to redo it all. So are certain people promised things that your Tackets, you're them, you're all these people who now, a couple years ago, if they left and defected from CJI and are said, hey, you better go do those trials, and they are like, well, now I have a championship in a different organization, that kind of matters, right? I think people could potentially be doing the numbers and just said, I'm not interested. You're already going to go with that person. Why am I going to waste my time?
Yeah, that definitely could be part of it. And there could be the other factors you mentioned as well. And if I'm making money is the champion in the UFC BJJ, why do I want to go do trials and risk a hit to my competitive reputation if it's not going to really serve me very well? So, hey, this is professional sports,
And I think you're starting to wonder, the weirdest part to me is this is one that doesn't have Mo's involvement, but he's always behind the scenes. So, like, I wonder if he's offsetting that he's not doing as much marketing or as much outreach as he used to do. All of that is unclear to me. The next biggest category is 88 kilograms, and that is about 100 people in there. And if you go to the 99 kg division itself, it is 64 people. 64 people in that size, and then approximately 45 in the 99 plus. Those two numbers to me seem dire, especially for the fact that isn't that the most likely candidate that you're going to see emerge to take on whoever is the super champ at that time? Because you can't imagine a 66er repeating a absolute championship. It's rough.
Yeah.
It's possible, but just size-wise, it's a big task. So there's that. And I do wonder what we're going to see this weekend. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because I know everybody gets excited for trials, but I did notice it does seem to drop a little bit of the enthusiasm. I would expect ADCC West Coast trials, probably where most people are banking on to let themselves go out and do their thing, but I just found it incredibly odd to see that big of a drop. Like a 40% drop, that's pretty big. Nonetheless, let us move on, because guess what they decided to do? I can tell you why about 16 people are not on that list. EBI is having an event this weekend, and I did love that they were putting it on the same weekend as trials, but maybe some of these boys figure that they can make some money here that they wouldn't make going to trials. It's very complicated. So, Tim, what can you tell us about our expectations and what we can get excited to see this Sunday out in the Mexicos?
Yeah, so live from, I believe it's in Monterrey, Mexico, is really carving out the country of Mexico with these jiu-jitsu events. Good on him. There's a lot of great talent that's coming out of that area. This is going to be the welterweights. It's on November 16th, and this is going to be under combat jiu-jitsu rules. So that means once an opponent is on the ground, only one opponent needs to be on the ground. The open hand strikes are live. And, as we've said a bunch of times, the open hand striking has evolved quite a bit in EBI to where it's a real problem now to be on the ground and not have a nice clinch or some type of protected position. There's a big chance you're going to eat a bunch of open hand strikes. Other storyline kind of coming up through this is, there's only a handful of guys who have won 3 EBI titles, whether they're, classic Coke, classic EBI, or if it was like under combat jiu-jitsu rules. Of course, the Danaher Death Squad just about bankrupted Eddie Bravo in the early days by submitting their way to every freaking title that they won. But we got Alan Sanchez coming up here in the welterweights looking to put his third title around his waist, which is a nice accomplishment for him. Sanchez has never won in the combat jiu-jitsu format. He's never won the championship belt. Another dude coming out of 10th Planet who made a huge wave in PGF Season 8 was Derek Rayfield. He's also in this bracket. Sanchez beat him in the semifinals, so you can look for Rayfield to be coming back for some revenge. There's some other big names out there. Caleb Crump is in it, Osvaldo Canamar, Trey Ogden, who is a UFC veteran. Kevin Buring has been making waves lately. He's going to be in it. So there's some good talent coming up on November 16th. And if you like action-oriented jiu-jitsu, you like to see some dudes get after it, combat jiu-jitsu is a lot of fun to watch. So if you're looking for something alternative, maybe than ADCC, if you want the ECW version of it, check out combat jiu-jitsu.
ECW. I wish that Eddie did act a lot more like Paul Heyman. I think that would go a lot further in this world.
Like a chunky Mexican Paul Heyman done by Eddie Bravo. That could be brilliant, man. That could be amazing, dude.
Hold on. It's somewhere in there.
I know you're trying to find it. You could do it, Raph. You could do it. Channel it.
Hold on. Well, because you know what? You added the extra pressure of making him a little bit bigger, and Eddie's not like fat like Paul Heyman's fat. So it's taking me a second to figure out what the voice would actually be like. But I'm trying to adjust for the certain weight differentium there, because Eddie, when you do the Eddie voice, it's in this range. So you're here and you do it and it's fine. It's everybody speaks how they need to. But then if you add the extra Paul Heyman thing, you're going to be starting off with something like, what is this? When you get into this, it's a little bit of a mix of presenting the undisputed, undocumented, indisputable Brock Lesnar. It takes a second to get that perfect pitch, but I feel like as you're describing it, it's like putting it into a chat GPT prompt.
You're about to give me an asthma attack.
Oh, you think Alan Sanchez was the final boss? Don't worry. I've got Brock Lesnar, and after him, I've got the best in the world. I've got the tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
That's great, man.
Thank you.
That's great.
Good Lord.
Oh.
Okay. Michael Jackson used to say the beat would just envelop in him. It would become him. He would become one with the beat. When I have to do these impressions, I literally have to have a moment where I go, okay, we're channeling them. Who are we? What's happening? And then you cross the streams and I'm like, wait, okay. Yes, Paul Heyman and Eddie wasn't thinking about it, but we can make this peanut butter and jelly happen right now. So, Eddie, I hope all is well. That is my gift to you, sir. Tim, we have a fight of the week. What can you tell us about this week's low light highlight?
I can tell you this. This takes place in a Bass Pro Shop. So this is how fighting works in the public, okay? When you first break into the ranks, right, you come off the street. Street fighting is that's just amateur stuff. When you first break into the ranks, you get signed by Waffle House, right? So you get some Waffle House work in, and if you do good in the Waffle House, you can move up to the intermediate leagues, and this one is a good jump up. This is Bass Pro Shop. So Bass Pro Shop has an illustrious history of fights popping off, And this is a multi-fight event. Glorious cameraman work. I was a little annoyed at first, and then I realized this man is doing God's work. He's jumping to this fight, and then he's jumping to that fight, and then he's jumping to this fight, and it's good. He just sensed the action, like, okay, these guys are stalling a bit. They need to get standed up. It's Bass Pro, so we can say stand it up. And then he jumps over to the other fight to catch the action. Nice work. It's short, but it's wild, and it's a fun one, man. Throwdown at the Bass Pro Shop. It doesn't get better than that.
You know, honestly, the Bass Pro Shop, magical. It is whatever you're promising here, I'm ready for, sir. So here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to put it on in 3, 2, 1. Tim, please walk us through the magic of this week's fight of the week, sir.
So we animal heads pan to the right. We got a little lockup, got some swinging. Oh, there's some pandemonium. There's a fight to get into the bathroom. Orange shirt guy says, not on my watch, and pushes the dude over the bank line pole. Now, this lady we got a terrible attempt at a triangle omoplata. It's just, I don't know what, there's so much activity, but this dude's not getting into that bathroom. No way. No one's allowed in. And now the Lardy started to lecture them about how they were grown men. But these guys look like they're fighting in slow motion to me, Raph. They literally look something has arrested it's like when you fight in a dream and you can't quite like move like you want to. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Bass Pro's got something in the air to just arrest their fighting skills.
All right, Tim. Here's what I need you to take away from this. That first view, it made me cry because there's some things I spotted. I'm not sure if you spotted, but here we go. All right, first things first. This man is coming in like Scorsese because he's showing you something that makes no sense and then does a pan whip. But if you are carefully noticing, you'll see a hat is on the floor. So in his own Hitchcockian way, he's letting you know blood is on the dance floor. Let's see what happened here. And a whip, and we're off to the races. You're not waiting, but it looks like these two gentlemen are into it. He whips to the other side and says, no, there's action over here near where this door is as well. But Tim, we can't even stay there because he says, don't get used to that action. I got to take you back to the scene at hand. There is nothing better than punching a punch away from hitting you. Look what this man does. Punches a punch to get away from him. Slips out. Now, this poor older dude in the green is doing his best to kind of curb the violence here. But you're going to find out it doesn't really help. This is the best windup I have ever seen and indicative of every person, I think, at bass shops everywhere. Watch him load up here. He's definitely like, whoop, 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 bink, nothing to it. And then Don't Mess with Texas comes in and starts chomping after here. He does knock him down, but Tim, I'm not sure you noticed this. When he tries to get up from that stanchion on the floor, he looks like a fish in a cargo net, and it made me cry. Look at him try to get up. He can't get back up. He's still stuck in there. We'll come back to that in a second. But him being like, all right, go, Gadget, get up. Nope. He tries kicking this dude, and it doesn't even hit him. He takes another one. The man whips back over to the side. Who brought a shopping cart into the fight? That's what I need to know. This is the part that makes no sense. You ever try to break up a fight by returning your cart, Tim? She did. She did right there because that was not there before. Doesn't stop shit. Now we're coming in with the best armbar anybody has ever seen. My students know I am a big stickler on form, and this man said none of it. I will try no form here. And as a result, I'm going to get my back taken. And you know what the best part is? Chekhov's gun. You can't show a gun without knowing what happened. Now we find out who the owner of the hat was. That hat that we saw at the very beginning was picked up by that gentleman. So that meant all the way back here, when the fight started, his hat got knocked off first, and then he was in the middle of the fight. Let's get to the end of this because it is still magical. So much has happened in literal seconds here. Now, Red Hat, she must be really in charge here, is telling everybody, chill the F out. This dude's literally on a phone breaking it up. Sir, what do you, unless you're calling security, which I want to assume you are, what do you think that's going to do more than actually pushing these people away? Now, here's a new player I didn't know we'd know. Like, she's somebody who's coming in like in a Pixar movie. She's like the extra little animal you didn't know existed and just tells them a big life lesson and then lets them know. She says her peace of mind. And then this is the part that I thought was great. Friend of the show, Sideshow Jiu-Jitsu, Anthony Ruiz. Making a nice little cameo here from telling us how to break up when people are trying to choke you from behind. What's up, Anthony? I hope all is well. Sideshow Jiu-Jitsu. It's good stuff. He also puts on tournaments. Shout out Anthony Ruiz. That's what I got from that fight, Tim. So thank you for bringing that one to my attention.
That was like a bad episode of Supermarket Sweep. You remember Supermarket Sweep when they had to run through the grocery store and get the items? You know what? We had one where you could just fuck each other up while you're going through the store, because that's pretty much what that looked like, right? That lady coming through with the basket, she was Supermarket Sweeping all day long, dude.
I have to be honest with you. I didn't get hired, but they did a revamp of Supermarket Sweep, and I think I had expressed to somebody where they're like, would you want to work on that one? And I go, yes. And I didn't know who or what or where. They brought it back with Leslie Jones, but anytime you bring back something in today's age, you have to recognize the things that probably wouldn't fly from the old show. But I swear to God, if you had an inflatable and somebody was in your same aisle, you could knock them down like it was a rugby game. Because as long as you had this, you were just like, womp, womp, womp. Oh, sorry, wham. And you would have to pick a good partner. So there was a joke amongst us who are game show friends or, you know, people who are in entertainment, where I would tell people, I'd be like, I'd have to be very picky on who I would have as my partner in that world. And they're like, well, what would you pick? And I was like, I can't tell if I'm the muscle or not. So they either have to know more than me or fight better than me. And I feel like I can kind of do both okay. But if somebody comes in and has got a good shoulder tackle, high on the list. Not going to lie. And you know what? Lady shoulder tackles happen on that show. And they existed. So don't think that women can't get it too. Women 100% would utilize their space. So very, very good stuff. Tim, I think it says always go for turkeys in Supermarket Sweep. You could go to the meat station and you could go to the diaper station. Those were your two cheat codes. If you did that, you started off well. In the reboot, I didn't see people do that as well. But I also feel like now if you go to the foreign coffee area, that also ups your price. So there's a lot of ways to play it. And man, the stories I would have had if I had worked on that reboot. I'm going to have to try to reboot it one more time just so I could work on one, because I definitely want to make that happen. Tim, I believe we've come to the end of the show. But before we get to that, the other comment from Egg was that he is the wrist locker, sir. You have to understand exactly why I said that. The reason I said that is that I know that about you. I know you're a dirty wrist locker. But what I'm saying is, if you let the civilian beat you at wrist locking, that is why we would have to make fun of you. So I'm literally giving you the heads up. Don't mess this up for us. Nonetheless, Tim, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Inside BJJ, all your favorite social media platforms. I'm out in Stockton this week. We got a promotion going tomorrow, 10 a.m. Then I'm going to be teaching a class after that. Come see us, 10th Planet Stockton. If you're out in the South, go see my homeschool, 10th Planet Nashville. Raf, I'm really digging Supermarket Sweep. I'm thinking Supermarket Sweep meets American Gladiators. You turn that soap aisle, and at the end of it, you see Storm standing there, and you got to get past her to get to the counter. That's what I'm looking for. Man, I'm stoked. I'm gonna put this in GPT right now, man. It's great to see you, Raf. Thanks for putting up with my glorious setup today. It's always a great week to talk to you, man.
Likewise, sir. And there's nothing quite like something that says you've got the special $250 extra bonus in your hands. There's nothing that's going to beat you. Oh, wait, it's fucking Laser. And Diamond's right behind him. Get to the checkout aisle if you can. And then all of a sudden, it's like a tennis gun that's trying to shoot at you. Oh, they're remaking American Gladiators. And I bet you I know, not like the main people, but just enough of the supporting people to be like, can we have a meeting? Transformers and G.I. Joe are going to combine forces. Why not you guys? Hear me out. I would like 170% of the profits. Anyways, thank you. All right, Tim. I'll let you get on out of here. Enjoy the time with your family. Thanks, I'm glad that you are out here, and I will see you next week. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, guys. Let's talk it out. Your boy here is making some choices. This weekend is ADCC trials, and yes, I will be on air all weekend, all the time for the trials. So while the trials are going on, I will be broadcasting out of New Ground Jiu-Jitsu all weekend. Please join me. If you guys want to be a correspondent for the show, hit me up, send me a DM, tell me. But it's going to be rough because it's Pacific time that I'm on, and those start at 7 a.m. So I will have coffee in hand. I will be basically watching all the divisions, telling you guys what mats you need to be watching. It is a amazing time. We do that every time for trials or for ADCC. We do a little bit of a fight companion, so I will be on air the entire time. I would love it if you join me. It'll be, again, can't emphasize this enough, live. So join me all weekend. That is Saturday and Sunday, all weekend long. It'll probably be on the Instagram and everything like that. So don't be afraid to check in on your boy. Make sure I'm alive. I guess that's really the big thing. In my advanced age, I start realizing, oh, yeah, if I pass out, would you guys say anything? Yikes. Nonetheless, join us there. You can also join me at Grappling Hour every single week. We have new interviews going up very, very soon of some friends who did some amazing interviews with us. Super stoked to see those things coming up for you guys. So that's coming up in the near future. Plus, next week, I will be executive producing Subversive. So that'll be Subversive Fight Club on Friday night. And then Saturday, we're doing Wild Style, our kids show. So get excited for those two events. And the hits don't stop, y'all. I keep doing more work. After that, I'm going to be doing some more work with our friend Ian Butler. I'm going to be out interviewing some of his wrestlers at the Ian Butler Invitational that they are working up to. But right now is the Silverback Open. I just did one last week, had a blast, interviewed some kids who are going to kill the wrestling world, and very excited to get to know them a little bit better. So other than that, find yourself some Grappling Hour merch. Go to rafesparza.com/merch. Find me everywhere. Say hello. And this weekend, stop in. I promise you, it's going to be a great time. That's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. My thanks to you all for tuning in for this very fun weekend. And it says, will you be live on Instagram? So, Dad Bod, the answer is probably. But I think you were watching initially off of Twitch. And Twitch is probably going to be one of the ones that's the most reliable. Like YouTube, Facebook is kind of reliable, but sometimes people don't find it on there. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of those I'm on. Instagram can be bitchy sometimes. So we are currently on Instagram right now. Actually, I see it frozen. Nope, it's back. We're good. So yeah, just keep eyes on all of our stuff. Basically, if it says Grappling Hour, you're going to find us. So that's what I got for you guys. But I look forward to seeing you guys all throughout the weekend. That's going to do it for us here today. My appreciation to you guys for joining us on another incredible episode of The Bullpen. Until the next time, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.